Okay. And I also invite you to use the transcript feature if you need to read my subtitles. Those are available through Microsoft Teams, which is very nice. And if you ever have any questions or comments, you can use the chat box or you can raise your hand and I'll try to take a look to see if folks want to unmute. So welcome to Search Engine Walk-In Workshop number 3. This workshop is called Intelligent Retrieval, GenAI Search Engines. And GenAI means Generative Artificial Intelligence. This is the first time that I've run this workshop and the other search engine workshops this quarter. Very excited to be doing these. If you have any recommendations for future workshops, you're more than welcome to let me know and I can try to design some new workshops based on your interests. So here is the agenda. Today we will do learning outcomes. So we will learn how to be successful in this workshop. Then we'll do brief introductions, and then we will do a brief Mentimeter activity. I will provide a brief overview of search engine technology and a brief overview of generative artificial intelligence technology. And then I will highlight 3 different GenAI search engines that you can use today. We will do a short activity to get you experience using them. And then I'll cover the last workshop in the series, which is coming up in a couple weeks. Can I see some thumbs or good to go from folks? Does this sound like a good plan today? Excellent. Thank you, everyone. Okay, yes, fire. And I'm letting in some folks. Great. So today's learning outcomes, pretty straightforward, I think. We are going to identify popular generative artificial intelligence search engines. We will determine how these tools combine traditional search technology and GenAI technology. And we will explore the platforms and user interfaces of search engines, specifically 3 that I mentioned earlier. Let's do some introductions. Since there are so many of us in the room today, let's use the chat box for our intros. If you can say your name and your academic program or discipline, and why are you here today? What do you want to learn from this session? Take about 2 minutes to enter this into the chat. Don't be shy. Anyone? Anyone going to introduce themselves? Okay, thank you. We've got one person here, Zach, who is here and to learn more about GenAI tools. Fantastic. Welcome, Jennifer. We are using the chat to introduce ourselves. Thank you, Zach. Okay, Adriana, here to learn more about AI. Linda, here to learn more as well. Fantastic. Maribel. Okay, everyone wants to learn more about AI specifically. I like that. Hopefully you find the search engines also to be useful. Thank you, Jennifer. Learn. That's great. Love it. Katerina, I'll be studying integrated behavioral health and want to learn how to use it correctly. Okay, fantastic. I love that you are being specific. Yan Lee, I don't want to fall behind on behind the times. Yes, let's stay relevant. Right. Ruslana, ESL transition student, want to develop my AI using skills. Great. Perfect. If people are still typing, please keep typing and enter your introduction. That's really nice. I'm going to keep going with the slides, but I will read all of them. So thank you so much for being here, everyone. So now we are going to move over to a new activity, and this activity is on a website called Menti. So go to menti.com. I will put that in the chat. Please go to menti.com, and you can use any web browser for this. And I will put the code in the chat as well in a second here. All right. I need to reset the results, actually. Give me one moment here. Manage results. Resets. There we go. Okay. If you already added something for today, please do it again. And sorry for that. For those of you that are not able to get in, I'm going to put the code in. If you did not scan the QR code, one moment, I will do that. Let's put the QR code on the slides. And welcome everyone to the introductions. That's great. You can go to the Menti website and enter in 7289-7724. And our first question is all about the search engines we're going to be talking about today. And one is called ChatGPT Search. One is called Perplexity. And one is called DeepSeek. And I see that 9 answers are for ChatGPT. So most people have used that for search engines, searching for information. 1 or 3 people marked Perplexity and 5 DeepSeek. Okay. All right, still getting some updates here. Nice. Let's move on to the next question. Now, which of the following have you used? The last question was, what have you heard of? Which of those tools have you actually used? Thank you for the thumb up and the Menti. That's nice. All right. It seems like it's about the same, a little different, but almost the same as the last question. And how much do you know about GenAI? Going back to the comment about staying up with the times, do you know nothing? Have you heard of GenAI technology? Do you know a bit or a small amount? Or do you know a lot? Okay. I know, Jennifer, you can answer. You know a lot. You've been to all of my workshops. Okay, thank you, everyone. And now I'm going to ask you for a response to this question in words. You have to type this one out. How do you feel about GenAI and search technology being combined? In other words, if you have a search engine and you have GenAI and you put them together, how does that make you feel? Just off the top of your head. We'll do about 2 minutes for this question. Okay, this is the word cloud question. So we're seeing words. I see curious. I believe the blue is intrigued. I see trepidatious. No problem on the misspelling. That's okay. Trepidatious. It's a great word. Good vocabulary word for the ESL students in the room. And do we know what trepidatious means? I had to relook up the actual definition, but it means fear, alarm, or dread. Interested, curious, complex, perplex, inevitable. Wow, excited. Okay. I love these answers. Easygoing. All right, let's keep it chill if we can. Make it easier. Right. Wow, these are cool. Nice, nice, nice. Right, everyone. Convenient. I like convenient. Okay. All right, we'll be back. I always love putting this slide in here because we're going to actually do another Menti at the end. So please keep the screen open if you want to come back easier later on. No spoilers. Let's go back to this presentation. So now we're going to talk a little bit about search engines. If you were in my other workshops, you will have heard some of this information already, but we're going to cover how search engines work. And if you aren't familiar with the term search engine, we covered it in my other two search engine workshops, but essentially these are like Google and Bing, and they're the tools that we use to access most of the web, most of the internet. And how do they work? Well, they use a type of technology called web crawler technology. And these bots, these robots or algorithms, they're automated to go out and try to look at, access as much of the internet, as much of the web as possible. So these programs, these crawlers, are going to a website and taking a snapshot of that website, looking at what's on it, looking at the links, where the links go, where the links come in, and they're trying to create a map of all of the internet, the public internet, the internet that we can all see easily. And when they create that map, they create what's called an index. And you can think of an index like a map, but it also means a list, right? That's what the word index means. So the crawlers collect all of these snapshots of the web, going from website to website, bouncing around over and over again. And they're doing this all hours of the day. That way we all can use these search engines to find the most updated information. And the index, this map, is connected to a lot of factors that we call ranking algorithms, which is a fancy term for saying this is how we know what the web is, what the websites have on them, and how we can organize them if someone wants to search that index. And so the search engine, when we use it as users, we are going to a website like Google and we're typing in our questions, right? And the search engine will give us a list in response. So the search engines include a way to present the results when we do searching. And that's based on those ranking algorithms. They tell us how to organize information based on what is on the websites and all of those links. So the search interfaces, they exist in many places. They exist on our computers, they exist on our phones, they exist all over the place. They might even exist on specific websites. You might be able to go to like the Spokane Community College website and use the search engine on the website to find information, for example. And many of these search engines they have the basic functionality of being able to search the web, but they also have all of these advanced features too, like being able to go shopping, look for images, get access to reference information through widgets that are displayed on the search results page. They also have advertisements. I think most of us have probably seen the ads on some of the search engines, right? And so we call the advertisements paid search results, and we call the other information organic search results. And the ads exist to help financially support the technology. That is an overview of how search engines work. If you're curious about any of these concepts, there's a lot of YouTube videos out there that you can watch, or I can give you some resources as well if you reach out to me. Now let's pivot. Let's turn to look at GenAI for a second. Before I read this list, I'm just going to say that I run walk-in workshops every quarter on GenAI. So if you want to learn the basics, you can always join for free my workshops. We had the intro sessions last week, so you missed them if you wanted to attend this quarter, but they are all recorded and they're all posted on the SCC Library webpage. So you can learn more about GenAI by watching those recordings. So GenAI tools, they use a technology called LLM, or large language model, which basically looks at how language works, how English and every other language works, and how language has patterns. And then they use very large data sets meaning very big databases, collections of information, and they are able to look at the information in the articles and the websites and the books that are in those data sets and pull information from those data sets to provide an answer. So when you use a tool like ChatGPT and you ask it a question, it will actually look in all of those pieces of data and pull all this information from a lot of different sources all at one time to provide the answer. And if you want to learn more about that and see examples, please check out the recording. We don't have time to go into it deeply today. But when you're using a GenAI tool, much like a search engine or a library database, you need to enter in input once or multiple times to have a conversation or thread with the GenAI tool. And this allows you to go back and forth over and over again to get more information, to refine your question, to go deeper on any given topic as needed. And then once you enter in your input, for example, I want to learn about why it's snowing outside, the GenAI tool processes your question. It essentially says, what is this language that this person has put in? And then it synthesizes the answer. It finds as much as it can about snow. It finds as much as it can about what is right now in February and why it might be snowing in February. And it looks at millions of documents about that question. And very quickly, it responds by pulling information from all of those sources. The GenAI tool now, in addition to its data set, may have access to the live web. And that is why we are here today, because we're going to be looking at tools that have access to the live web and can provide not only information from sources from its data set, that giant collection of documents that it has access to, but also it can do searching just like we can do searching, and it can look at all of the information that's currently in the search results when it does that search. And so it's expanded to the live internet, which makes it very, very powerful. So we're going to be focusing on 3 tools today, and we will get the opportunity to practice with these 3 tools. The first tool is actually a function or a special capability in another tool, and that is ChatGPT. So this first focus is ChatGPT Search. In October of last year, October of 2024, ChatGPT launched ChatGPT Search, meaning before October 31st, you could not search the internet with ChatGPT. So not very long ago did they bring this feature into play. What does ChatGPT Search do? It adds search results, live search information to its answers. It provides real-time information by doing searching on the web and getting current information when possible. This leads to up-to-date answers, which reduces the issue of outdated information and increases accuracy. And if any of you used ChatGPT before October, that was always one of the big problems with ChatGPT, was that it was often saying, I can't find information about this topic because it's too new, or my data it ends at a certain day and it's only for this snapshot of time. Those types of issues came up a lot back before October. Now, when you use ChatGPT, you will either automatically get or you can request links to actual sources to verify the information that ChatGPT is providing. And it's considered easy to use because all you have to do is click on a globe icon in the ChatGPT platform. There's a little picture of a globe, so a circular map, and then use ChatGPT like you normally would, and it will search the web when it provides you information. So it's very easy to turn on. And with the new GPT 4.0, this has allowed for access to even better search results. And this is a summary from AI. So that is open to interpretation. But essentially, you're getting access to even more live internet information than ever before. So our first example here is ChatGPT search. And then I'll enter that into the chat just for reference. Our next example here, focus number 2, is called Perplexity. And as a librarian, I have really enjoyed Perplexity for the entirety that I've known it. I actually learned about it back when it came out in 2022 and started using it almost immediately. And the nice thing is that it stayed pretty much the same since it launched. It has some slightly new features, but most of it is still the same. And it's very, very powerful. And it calls itself an answer engine, not a search engine, but an answer engine. And it's AI-powered search that provides not only links, but summaries of information. So it's doing that synthesis, that bringing together of information that we talked about during the GenAI slide. It's constantly looking for real-time information. It has its own indexing technology. So when I talked about the crawlers going out on the web and finding snapshots of the web to create that map or index, Perplexity has its own technology for doing that. Just like ChatGPT search, it includes citations for easy fact checking. And it does this automatically. So when you use it, you will get the sources from the beginning. It has multiple search modes. So you can actually turn on academic mode. You can turn on a variety of different modes to look for specific types of information. And there is a pro search that provides even more information, what we call in-depth answers, that goes even deeper into some of the questions that you might have. And then it does have some advanced features. You can upload an image if you need to search for that image or learn more about that image. It can analyze documents just like ChatGPT can. And it does support different AI LLMs, different models, including GPT-4 and Claude 3. So it uses other AI languages, AI language models, LLMs, in its technology. It also has its own, which is nice too. Now, the final one that we're focusing on today, let me make sure I type in here Perplexity into the chat. The final one is DeepSeek. Now, a few of you had mentioned at the beginning that you've heard of DeepSeek. DeepSeek actually just came out last month. Yes, it's that new. So we are now living in a new era, which is this tool. Very, very powerful tool. This tool came out of China, and it is rivaling OpenAI or ChatGPT and Google or Gemini. And its big thing is that it costs less. The company was able to develop this with $6 million instead of, for example, 100 million, which is how much it's estimated that GPT-4 cost. It also uses less electricity on the back end when it's being used, which a lot of people are saying good things about. It got popular very fast. It reached 1 million users in just 14 days of being launched. And one of the biggest things about this, kind of the earth-shattering or revolutionary part of this, is that it's considered open source. So any developer can go online and not only use this, but they can essentially download it and edit it and build off of it as they want. And most of the US competitors, including OpenAI and Google and Anthropic, all of those other GenAI companies, they are not using open source approach to this. So a lot of people are saying DeepSeek has essentially copied some of these other tools and are then making it open. So are they stealing from these other companies or, copying in an unethical way? But then a lot of people in response say that ChatGPT or OpenAI, they have been stealing information and using it for their profit this whole time as well. So it's a complicated conversation. Yes, so in the chat, DeepSeek is like Wikipedia in its programming. Yes, I mean, both of them are open source. So in that sense, they are trying to contribute to more openness with the information and the technology in the world. So that's the newest one, and we don't know where that's going to go because it just came out. But I will say I have been using it since the week it came out, and I have been impressed.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, go for it.
There's an article in this week's Time magazine about DeepSeek, it being affiliated with the Chinese. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, it's a Chinese company, and it is operating under a lot of the constraints of the Chinese government, which has a lot more control over their technology in some ways than we do over ours. And one of the things that I like to talk about with GenAI is the guardrails. We use that term guardrails, or the constraints that the developers put on their technology. So, for example, you might ask a controversial question when you're talking with ChatGPT, and it might say, I am not able to answer this, or I cannot promote conversations on this topic. You might get that kind of answer from ChatGPT or any other GenAI. When you look at DeepSeek, one of the popular examples that's coming up is asking DeepSeek about certain Chinese topics. For example, if you ask it about Tiananmen Square, which was a historic event involving the massacre of a lot of people, a lot of activists in China, it will actually not respond to your question. And you can try this on your own. We're not going to look at it together. Another example is, asking about Tibet. Tibet being an ongoing historically challenged place and culture and people, the Tibetan people, and DeepSeek is biased towards the Chinese government, which aims to control Tibet. So those are two really popular examples that come up a lot because of the bias of the Chinese government and what they control with their technology. So I recommend looking into that a little bit as well if you're interested. Yes, and so we see some good examples in the chat. DeepSeek cannot give the real result about political issues. Yes, so keep that in mind. That's what I'm talking about with these other examples about Tiananmen Square and Tibet. And then another contribution, I tried to ask about banned Chinese web novel, and it denied to give an answer at all. So that is also something to keep in mind. And maybe, because it's open source, someone that is not connected to the Chinese government might create a version soon that is not biased like that. But for now, recognizing the limitations of this tool and any other tool is an important part of the critical use of these tools. Okay. So we're going to spend some time practicing with these tools. I put the 3 tools in the chat. So remember, there's 3 that we're going to explore today. One is ChatGPT Search, one is Perplexity, and one is DeepSeek. You can use them in your computer. You can also, there are apps for each of them on your phone, or you can go to the website for each of them on your phone. And however you want to do it, you can use one of these. Maybe if you know already how to use one, you try another one to get new experience. That is always my recommendation. If you're familiar with one, try something new. Look for some of the problems, look for some of the functionalities. One thing I would like to recommend, because it's a pretty non-controversial topic, is testing your searching by looking up information about Spokane. If you need an example topic or search idea, just look up the history of Spokane or information about Spokane, and that's a pretty safe one to use. As you're using the tool that you choose to use, I want you to think about the qualities or the features of the tools. Look at the different options that you have. Look at how it works. Try to explore it a little bit and play around with it. I want you to find 1 or 2 things that you notice when you use these tools to find information. Okay? Write them down or type them or keep them in your brain, because when we come back in about 5 minutes, we're going to open the Menti again and we're going to share what we learned. Okay? So one more time, I'll recap. Choose one of those search engines. Practice with some test search. If you need an example, look up information about Spokane, and then bring back 1 to 2 features from that search tool, and we will share it on the Menti. Okay, and I'm going to mute, and we will come back in 5 minutes. And if you have questions, just put them in the chat or unmute. Okay, I want to check in. We have about 1 minute before 12:38. Can I get some thumbs up if you are good to go to share back? Or if you need more time, please enter into the chat. You need more time. Okay, thanks for that thumb. Got a couple thumbs. How about folks that are in the classroom? Zach, maybe you can chime in to see, give a sense of if more time is needed. Okay. I saw 3 thumbs, so I'm gonna assume some people, 3 more minutes. Okay. We'll go until 12:41. No problem. This goes till 12:50, so we'll have plenty of time to share back. Jennifer, is it snowing where you're at? It is, yeah, it's snowing here too.
Yep, it's a real drag.
It's not sticking here at all, though. Well, maybe a tiny bit.
It's pretty wet and it's warm, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I think, is today the last day that the snow's in the forecast, or is it? I guess
No
tomorrow
idea.
too. Tomorrow as well. But guess
It's
what?
always
Then
so
it's going to be
different.
rain.
I don't pay attention.
Oh, you
Whatever
just
it's
go with the
doing
flow.
outside, that's what the weather's going to be like.
Nice. Yeah, I think we're about to switch towards springtime weather soon, right? Our 4 seasons.
Basically, in my experience around here, once we spring forward, then it's spring.
Yeah.
Spring comes with a quickness after that. Yay.
I kind of wish that the winter was a little bit longer. I feel like we didn't get a lot of snow and we did get some cold weather, but
Yeah,
I was hoping there'd be
it
a
was
little bit more
strange.
snow.
Yeah, it's different for sure.
And yes, winter showed up for your birthday month. Yeah. All right, everyone, 1 more minute. Can I see some more thumbs if you are good to share back? You are good to share back. Please do a thumb up if you haven't done one yet. I'm not seeing any thumbs, so I'm that's probably a good thing. That probably means people are actively using these tools. Well, for the sake of time, because we do only have 9 more minutes, we're going to go back to we're going to go back. Question in the chat, is Perplexity totally free? There is a totally free version and you can pay for the pro version. So I guess the platform is not totally free because there is a paid version, but the free version is the only version I've used since 2022, and I haven't really found any limits with that. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the Menti now, and I'm gonna switch back over to that. And I want you to consider this question. This is going to be based on what I asked you about for thinking about the different functions, the different things that the tools can use. In Menti, please respond to this question. How do you think GenAI search engines can help you as a student? While you're typing, I will also note in the chat, I use Perplexity just for trying something new. So this AI does everything quick, but you should use a clear prompt. Fantastic.
It's not showing the question.
Not showing the question, really. Did you use the same code?
Well, I didn't use a code. I just was still on there. Do I have to go back out?
Try refreshing.
Hang on. Let me use that.
Should work.
Okay.
You got it now?
Yep. Thanks.
All right. All right, saving time on doing manual searching and letting me concentrate on something more creative. Very nice. In Teams chat, I like how it can be like a conversation, iterative. Saves a lot of time, says another person. Helping with outlines, interesting. Okay. I'm gonna close the Perplexity. I really love that it links out to a variety of articles and bullets and issue out beyond your original question. As for GenAI, it can be helpful for brainstorming. Fantastic. All right, keep them coming. All right, I'm not sure about the word used here. It analyzing, maybe it is analyzing and helpful. I just tried Perplexity to try something new. Nice tool for students to look at some articles in their field. Gives you sources and summary at the same time. In the Teams chat, it helps me solve problems easily. Okay. Back in Menti, helps us understand a lot of complex concepts. Oh, okay. In the chat, Zach says, I have a student who wanted to sign in using Google credentials, but was worried they would sign up automatically for the paid version. You will only sign up for the paid version if you enter your credit card information. That's the only way it's going to sign you up for a paid version with any of these tools. So do not worry about that. However, always keep in mind security. And if you're using a Google account with your name and your Gmail or your email address, that sort of stuff, somehow or in some ways those may be connected, and you never know where your data is going to go. So keep that in mind. Back in Menti, helps me solve problems when I can't find help. Interesting. And it can help students flesh out their ideas when brainstorming. Fantastic. Cool. See if there's anything else here. It's a helpful tool that definitely can help with articles and any kind of information. And it's an interesting word, canalizable. I'm not familiar with that term. Let's see. Interesting. Canalized, connecting to a canal or duct. Interesting. Okay. I'm not seeing any other contributions at this time. I do want to, let you know, a reminder that if you have any questions about these tools or you want to go deeper and explore them even more, please reach out to me, reach out to the library. We'd be happy to help you with tutorials and exploring these further. I personally think they're only going to become more and more popular as time goes on. I already know many people who use Perplexity instead of Google, for example. They stopped using Google altogether just because they can get the same links as well as that summary information using Perplexity. I'm not going to recommend one over any of the others. That's not my goal today. I think they all have their own issues. If you want to learn more about the ethical issues around GenAI, please look for those workshops or watch the recordings on the website. And with that being said, thank you so much for being here today. Our last workshop on search engines this quarter is coming up on March 4th, same time. This time it'll be online and in person. And we're going to be looking at what I call research-oriented search engines. These will include Elicit, Semantic Scholar, OA.mg, and Seeker. And these search engines are specifically designed to get you access to research articles and academic articles, everything that the library likes to promote when we're thinking about doing academic research at the college. So this will be the fourth and final one. You don't need to register in advance. But if you do register in advance using the same register form you used for this one, I will add you to the Outlook event so that you can have a reminder. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your day and really appreciate your involvement with this today. Enjoy the snow.
Yeah.